Patch 1.39 is finally live and we have role queue. But there have been some issues. People are not good at playing Sigma, and poor Birgitte cannot catch a break. All this and more in this week's Omnic Recap. Welcome! Hey creeps, Dave from the Omnic Post here. Welcome to the Omnic Recap, a video series that tackles this week's Overwatch news. This week, patch 1.39, aka the role queue patch, went live. People, including myself, have been looking forward to this patch tremendously. Some even go as far as calling this a new era for Overwatch. And this time, it's not Jeff that said it. Actually, we haven't seen Jeff for a few weeks now. He might be on a Californian beach, wearing Torp's slippers and his swimming trunks. And while this is indeed one of the biggest changes that we have seen in Overwatch since they went for the single hero, the release was somewhat underwhelming. Mostly because of some small issues, bad communication, and some dodgy decisions. And I'm not only talking about Jeff's swimming trunks. Let's start with competitive. With the release of the patch, that 2-week beta season started. And it's going okay. When you are playing ranked Overwatch, the experience is almost as expected. Except for two things. We've seen some reports of people ending up in 5-player teams or games simply not loading in. But that seems like just some small hiccups that probably will be fixed as soon as the proper season starts. The second issue is somewhat more confusing. A lot of people expected that their SR and their MMR would be completely reset with the release of this new system. Something like an Overwatch-style baptism. All of your previous sins are forgiven. A new start. Yes, even for Hanzo mains. No, Mei players, please. In perpetuity means forever. You knew what you got yourself into once you clicked that portrait. But that does not seem to be the case. People are complaining that they see remnants of their previous MMR in their current score. Which actually is because Blizzard has been sneakily tracking new data in the last few months. They have been building our role MMR in preparation for the 222 lock, but they weren't using it. Up till now. During an interview with streamer Seagull, Jeff explained that they actually tried to do an SR and MMR reset internally with the team. But that turned out really bad, so they decided they would not do it. Ever. I guess this issue is basically the expectations that we had not matching up with what they were actually doing. Which is very different from what happened in Quick Play. When you logged in right after the patch was released and tried to play some games of Quick Play, you ended up in role lock hell. Role lock is basically the evil twin brother of role queue. In role queue, you decide which role you want to play before you queue up, and the game will match you up in nice 2-2-2 groups. Makes sense, right? In role lock, you end up in the normal character selection screen. But as soon as any role has 2 heroes selected, all the other heroes in that role are no longer available. You would think that the difference is minimal, but it's actually huge. If you load into the game later than the rest of your team, you're basically hard forced to play the role that is left. And that's the moment where people start leaving, where they start trolling, or crying really hard on voice chat. Yeah, that's annoying. And even if you're a decent person and decide to stick around, you might not be as good in that role as you are in the others. So your team is basically screwed. It is a toxic cesspool. Shortly after people started noticing the issue, Blizzard stated that it was a bug. A few hours later, they ended up just removing role lock out of Quick Play completely. So no role lock and no role queue. This will most likely change after the beta season. But it's slightly disappointing, and I'm sure that it's not what they had in mind, since they now have to use both MMRs, the old one and the sneaky one. All these issues should be dealt with in the coming 2 weeks. And if nothing big explodes, we'll most likely see the first real role lock season start around September 3rd. While patch 1.39 will forever be remembered as the role queue patch, it also introduced a new hero to the game. Starting this week, everybody could get their hands on the Flying Dutchman, aka Sigma. And as per usual, he gets insta-locked in quick play. The real surprise here was that Blizzard decided to add the Stroopwafel Fanatic to competitive. Usually Blizzard waits at least 2 weeks before unlocking the hero in comp. Mainly because they want players to get some practice in with that new hero before they start ruining their teammates' SR. But because this is a beta season, they just kind of threw him in. And since we have role queue in comp, which gives you a way bigger chance to be able to pick Sigma. See what I'm getting at? No? Really? Okay. Everybody was flocking to comp to try the new hero. And as I said in previous episodes, he is really hard to play. I've seen people struggle with deploying that barrier like it's the launching procedure of some alien spacecraft. While others think that they're playing a Dutch-speaking Zenyatta. They hang out in the back and just start throwing around these oddly shaped orbs while yelling weird catchphrases. In short, people suck at Sigma. Sorry. We can only hope that Blizzard does not take the results of this season into account for the next one. Because we're royally getting screwed over by those barefoot lunatics. Just click and hold. Now release. No, don't click again. The patch also contained a few balancing changes. Some were just general changes, while others were there to make sure that heroes fit into the new 2-2-2 system. Like Birgitte, for instance. Her previous skill set was kind of based on her being that third support in any group. But now that every team will have 2 healers, she kind of needed a serious healing buff. And that's what they did, at a cost of course. While some players are fairly happy with the results and feel that she is a decent healer now, others think that she's in no way viable. Especially the nerf of her shield from 500 to 200 is rubbing people the wrong way. See, all of our heroes have this one little extra thing. It makes them unique and kind of ties in with a certain playstyle, or it helps you to counter a certain issue. Mercy can res, Lucia can boop, Moira is evil, but Birgitte, she just yells a lot.
Ta lite skydd!
I personally am not a Birgitte player, but I feel that we just need to give it a little more time. And Blizzard in the end might have to rework her, just like they did with Torbjorn, Hanzo, Symmetra. Question of the week. What do you think of the current state of Birgitte? And what would you like to change? Let me know in the comments below. That's that way. I added a link to the patch notes in the description for those of you that want to catch up on all those balancing changes. You go read. Use those eyes and go, okay. On top of these balancing changes, there were, of course, the necessary bug fixes and a few new bugs. After patch 1.39, streamer and Lucia fanatic Red Shell noticed that Lucia's boop is not working as intended. If there's an upward ramp or stairs behind the enemy player and you boop them, they're going nowhere. Other players claim that they have seen that same issue with other booping characters. See, this makes a lot of sense in the real world. If I push you while you are on the stairs, you won't fly away. You'll just look at me very disappointed and hit me in the face. Bye. I'm sorry. But in a world where a 14-year-old hamster rolls around in a mech, I want to make people soar like an eagle for a few seconds, after which they just drop like a boulder with vertigo. Bam! This most likely is a bug and will be fixed very soon. Last month, Jonak got his very own Zenyatta skin to celebrate the fact that he was the MVP for Season 1 in the Overwatch League. But it seems Blizzard was not done celebrating. This week they announced that the champions of that first season, the London Spitfire, would also be getting their very own skin. The Flying Ace skin puts good old Winston in an orange and blue leather jumpsuit. What? He's sporting the classic pilot cap and a very distinguished moustache. Ooh. Tea, yes. Tea. Is this banana tea? No? Yeah. Is this peanut butter tea? No? It is rather interesting that Blizzard picked Winston to represent the Spitfires. Sure, on one hand he has the backpack, which is easily transformed into a Spitfire, but it's never a good idea to make an ape fly, especially an ape with a temper. We've all seen The Wizard of Oz, right? The skin will be available for a 3-week period starting on August 29th. You'll be able to buy it for the usual 200 Overwatch League tokens. Next week, Gamescom is starting in Cologne, Germany. Well, Köln, whatever. In Germany. Blizzard will not have their usual big booth on the game floor, but they'll have a gear store where visitors will be able to buy Blizzard merchandise. This week, they introduced a few new pieces, like this beautiful May statue, for instance. Holy water is not included. I will be on Gamescom on Tuesday to check out all this new merchandise. I'll post some pictures and stories on both my Instagram and my Twitter account. AtomiixTV with 2 eyes, links in the description. And I'll also be recording a video that will be posted on this channel a few days after that. So make sure to check that out. On top of that, I'll be posting an extended version of that video with extra footage of my actual journey, a lot of shenanigans, a lot of fun stuff on Atomix Vlogs. What? That is a new channel where Hilke, that's my girlfriend. Yeah, I have a girlfriend. Nah, she's real. No, she come on. She does really exist, come on. Where we will be vlogging about all the journeys we take, all the events that we visit, just a lot of stuff that we do for Atomix. We will be going back to BlizzCon this year, and we will be visiting Disneyland in California, Disneyland in Paris. We're going to Crete, we're doing a lot of events. So basically there's a lot of stuff that we can cover. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe to that channel. Click the link here, and I'll add the link to the description. And that's it for today, folks. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see all of our future videos, just hit that big red subscribe button and then gently click that little bell icon that's next to it so you get notified every time I upload a video through the magics of the internets. Check me out on Twitch. I stream a few days a week on twitch.tv/AtomiixTV. Atomix is with 2 eyes. If you want the latest updates on Overwatch, make sure to follow the Omnic Post and Omnic Esports on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me on all those same platforms as AtomiixTV with 2 eyes. As usual, the links are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, bye bye.